Welcome back, my Duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and happy Tuesday. So, I've got something that's going to be a little bit goofier. Um, and this variant of the deck is meant to just be for fun. This is not a more competitive build or anything. Can we make this more competitive? Oh, yeah, for sure. But for right now, I wanted to show you guys just like in a casual setting how this deck can work. Now, if you guys get this and you guys ask enough in the comments, whatever, we will rebuild this with a more competitive mindset. But until then, just casual, kind of in my name. So I want to talk about the Amorphage cards. Now, one thing I want to not have to repeat myself 100 times on this video is that all of the small ones, the non-tribute monsters, have the same monster effect. That is, that if they are pendulum summoned or flipped face up, neither player can special summon monsters from the extra deck while it's face up on the field, except for Amorphage monsters. Okay? The two exceptions to this are going to be Sloth and Goliath. They both state neither player can special summon cards from the extra deck except Amorphages, because again, they can be normal summoned. They truly can't be pendulum summoned. The rest of their effect is floodgate-esque effects while they're in a pendulum zone. And again, we could do some pretty crazy things with this deck later. But for today, I wanted to show it off and let you guys have some fun with it. So let's do that instead. So the first character we're going to play is Envy. 0 by 20, 50. Weird. Again, though, I think they all have a 50 somewhere in their stat. And I think that they all have one stat that's a 0. So, again, Envy is going to be played defensively. And again, the scales are either going to be 3s or 5s. So I'm going to show you how to get around that as well. So again, like I said, if pendulum or flip summoned, neither player can special summon from the extra deck. So to do this, what I did was I just didn't pack one. So bit of a spoiler alert. This is just a 42-ish card deck, I believe. And I'll count it up right at the end. While this one is in a pendulum zone, while you control an Amorphage monster, neither player can activate cards or effects as Chain Link 2 or higher. So no responses for the duel. And the other effect they're all going to share. Once per turn, during your standby phase, tribute a monster or destroy this card. So again, this does offer itself up to other plays. And if you guys want a competitive version, let me know. Next up, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Gluttony. Gluttony is also going to be a Pendulum 5. Same monster effect, different pendulum. While you control an Amorphage monster, monsters cannot activate their effects except Amorphage monsters. And again, tribute once per turn. And we have the Goliath, scale 5 as well. We're going to be running 2 copies. And again, like I said, this one just statically has the effect. While it's in the pendulum zone, and you have another Amorphage, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. I think you guys all know Macrocosmos. And again, he's pretty disruptive just on his own. 2750, a weird boss stat, but hey, he's here. We got 3 Greed. Greed looking like a hedgehog dragon. Scale 3. While you control an Amorphage monster, neither player can activate trap cards or their effects, except Amorphage cards. And then the card that goes along with this would be Lechery. Lechery will do the same effect, but for spells, and this one will be a scale 5. Next up, we're going to be playing Pride. Pride is a scale 3. Pride states that neither player takes effect damage while I control an Amorphage card. Again, he's not that great. He is a 4 and he's got 1750, so that's okay. And then the last one we're going to be playing is 2 copies Sloth. And again, scale 3. While you control an Amorphage monster, neither player can add cards from the deck to the hand except by drawing them. So again, this is similar to like Droll and Lockbird's effect. I think it was Continuous Trap too. I'm not sure. Maybe it was Mistake or something. I'm not 100%. So again, if I'm wrong, please Please be gentle. But those are the monsters, and it's a bunch of monsters. And real quick, go ahead, pause the video, or, take the screenshot, whatever you're able to do. And I will be back with the spells in just a moment. All right. Quick count on that too. Showed it was 19 monsters, and the deck is in fact 42 cards. We will have, let's see, 7 traps, and the rest will be spells. So, like I said, in the spells, we are going to be playing 3 copies of Amorphage Infection. And again, what we're going to do, since we're not really allowing our opponent to use the extra deck, because we're going to have a monster on the field, and again, we're just going to kind of mess with them. All Amorphage monsters on the field gain 100 attack and defense per Amorphage card on the field. This card does count, because it does say card. If a monsters in your hand or you control would be tributed or destroyed by battle or card effect, you can add 1 Amorphage card from deck to hand. You can use each effect once per turn. So again, as long as, I want to say it was Sloth, isn't in a pendulum zone, this plays. Because I do not think he made a caveat for Amorphage cards. He did not. So, keep that in mind. There can be a negative interaction even in the same dead build. We are going to use 3 copies of the field spell, the Amorphous Persona. And again, this is just kind of for fun. So all Amorphage monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense, up to twice per turn if they would control would be attributed. Draw a card. You can banish this from the graveyard. 2 tribute pendulum monsters from hand and field who equal exact 8. Ritual summon the Amorphage or Amorphactor Pain, the Imagination Drake Overlord from the hand. We are not playing this card. We're playing this for the draw ones that can benefit with the search ones and the extra 300 points. And again, this is not considered an Amorphage card. It is amorphous. So please do not count this one. We are running a couple of basic tech cards in here. Feather Duster, of course. 3 copies of the Pendulum Shift. And this is how we get our big boys on the field. Target a card in either pendulum zone and declare a scale 1 to 10. During this turn, that card becomes that scale. So again, we look back through our monsters because I didn't get rid of them yet. We can get a 3 and we can make a 10. And it means we can actually pendulum out Sloth and Goliath. And again, Master Rule 5, I think it was, allowed us to bring our Fusion, our Xyz, and our Synchros back into the back row. The only time we can bring pendulums from the top of the extra deck to the field would be the extra zone. So again, this deck kind of doesn't require an extra deck. And I mean, if you wanted to, you guys could try to work in Pot of Extravagance or Pot of Prosperity if it's in your budget. If it's not, play this one. Play the Pot of Riches. We are going to be playing 3 copies of this ourselves. Shuffle 3 pendulum monsters into the deck from either the graveyard and or face up from the extra deck to draw 2. So it's like a mini Pot of Avarice. You cannot special summon the turn you activate this except by pendulum. So again, I'm okay with that. It fits this deck to a T. And you know what? It kind of looks goofy. I like him. I like him with his chubby cheeks. And then, of course, because again, this is semi-budgeted, we're just going to play 3 Hate Beams with the Raigekis. Again, simple. Just play it, destroy the opponent's field, set up your link board, lay into control, and just watch them hate you. So again, what did I say? It was 19 monsters. I said 7 traps, 3, 6, 9, 10, 16 spells. Just so somebody doesn't go, well, how many spells was it? 16 spells. All right. Real quick, again, do the thing. Screenshot or pause in notes. Either way, you get that done. I'll be right back with the traps. And the first trap is probably one of the more annoying. And again, if you wanted to, you guys could jump this up to 3. But as far as the way that this deck played, this is the way I wanted to play it. So I'm playing 2 copies of Amorphage Lysis. And again, feel free to jump this to 3 if you want. All monsters on the field except Amorphage monsters lose 100 attack and defense per Amorphage card on the field. Now, Remember, if this and our continuous spell are both in play at the same time, they are both Amorphages. So that's +2 for your side, -2 for their side, plus guessing you're having a monster. So it's actually plus and minus 3s. So we can create quite an imbalance on the field just immediately. Additionally, if a card or cards in the Pendulum Zone would be destroyed except during the damage step, you may place one Amorphage Pendulum monster from the deck into the Pendulum Zone. Use each effect once per turn. Use this effect only once per turn, which is, again, just fine. So maybe take this one up to 3 and drop the last one down to 2. But this is how I was playing it during playtests. 2 lost wins, and if you guys have been following me for Speed Duel, you guys already know what it is. But there's going to be times where our opponent's still going to get the special summon, and there may be a time or two where they break our board and go for their own extra deck cards. So we want this in here. Target a face-up special summon monster card on the field, negate its effects, and have its original attack. If a monster becomes special summoned from the opponent's extra deck while this is in the graveyard except during the damage step, then we may set this card back to the field, banishing it when it leaves the field the second time. So again, it's definitely going to be like our little SWAT. It is what it is. And then 3 copies of Pendulum Reborn. And again, we could drop this down to 2. Special summon a face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck or Pendulum monster from your graveyard. Again, this is going to kind of interfere a little bit with our extra zone, because even though we're playing it from the top of the extra deck, I do not think that we're allowed to play it into the back rows. At least that's not the way that I played it. I played it as though I was still special summoning, and it may just be during the pendulum summon. It may be any time that a monster is summoned from the top of the extra deck. You guys, you're smarter than me. Somebody let me know. I will be eternally grateful. But this is my my little casual Amorphage deck. And again, I don't think I've had these on the channel yet. So I didn't want to go straight into a competitive build without doing a casual build first. Because I want every deck that I put on here to be something that's relatable and casual, or it's cost effective or something, as well as entertaining, because let's be honest. And again, there's no extra deck. If you wanted to run an extra deck, what I would suggest is maybe running some super polys in the side deck. Again, I don't try to give side deck advice too often, but I would run maybe some super polys in the side deck, and then run up a whole bunch of fusion monsters. And then if Pot of Riches isn't doing it for you, you could always draw into Extravagance. My big issue with Extravagance is, again, sometimes we'll have Lechery up, so that wouldn't be good. And then again, if Sloth is in there, okay, cool, we could still draw those cards. But then we won't be able to draw off of our persona. But whereas the infection would still allow us to add cards. So again, it gets weird with the interactions with this deck. And this may be one that you guys just skip, but you guys like the artwork. I forget which one it was. It was one of these I just totally didn't play besides the ritual. And if you guys read the effects, I'm sure that you will agree that that one was not a major loss. So guys, thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, do the things. Don't do the things. That's entirely up to you. But do me one favor. Go out today, pursue the happiness, pursue it with a vengeance, and try to have a great day, okay? The only thing that'll happen if you try to have a bad day is you're going to succeed. But if you try to have a good day, you still might succeed. So do that. See you guys later.